ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to this afternoon debate. My name is Lê Khánh Huyền, and I'm the chairman of today's debate. And my partner is Nguyễn Thị Hồng Duyên, and she is the timekeeper of today's debate. The topic of this debate is unemployment insurance in Vietnam should be abolished. I'm so sorry. Let me introduce you a little bit about unemployment insurance. Unemployment insurance means a scheme aiming to compensate part of income of a worker when he or she becomes unemployed, support him or her to receive vocational training, maintain employment, and seek employment on the basis of making contribution to the unemployment insurance fund. Although this topic or this insurance is very popular in many countries in the world, but it is still a new and controversial topic in Vietnam. And here we are today to discuss about this problem. I want to present the two groups of today's debate. On my right is the proposition team, includes Phạm Ngọc Anh, Vũ Phương Thảo, and Nguyễn Hà Phương. On my left, please give them applause. And on my left is the opposition team with Phạm Phong Hy, Vũ Phương Hạnh, and Nguyễn Thị Thu Huyền. The speaking time for each speaker is 5 minutes. The timekeeper will give a warning sign signal 1 minute before a speaker runs out of time. Please ensure that your mobile phones are all switched off. And now I declare this debate open and call upon the proposition speaker.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to today's party. So first of all, let me define the term of unemployment benefit. According to the International Labour Organization, or is known as ILO, resolution concerning economically active population, employment, unemployment, and underemployment adopted by the 13th International Conference of Labour Statisticians, October 1982, paragraph 10, then the unemployed comprise all persons above of a specific age who during the reference period work one without work, and that is work not in paid employment or self-employment during the reference period. 2. Currently available for work. That means they were available for paid employment or self-employment during the reference period. And 3 is seeking work, that it had taken specific steps in a specified recent period to seek paid employment or self-employment. That's one misunderstanding in this term is that this unemployment benefit is not a right of a person, but it is this is kind of like a social welfare, and it is based on the number of months of payment of unemployment insurance premiums. Accordingly, that the duration is 3 months. If the period of payment of unemployment insurance premium is within a full 12 months and full 36 months. This is according to the Vietnamese law. It means that when you have worked a full year of 12 months, then when you receive the unemployment benefits, you will have a treatment of that. And the rate is 60% of the latest month that you are employed. So what is the problem with this unemployment benefits? We have known about the purpose when the chairman said before, and this is the definition. And so we have a purpose, as the chairman stated before. However, there have been some conflicts in the ASEAN community. There's only Thailand and Vietnam, which are the only two countries that already have this kind of system, the UI system, which means the unemployment insurance. However, in Thailand, the unemployment rate is only about 1% or even below than 1%. However, in Vietnam, the unemployment rate is far more than 2%, and it keeps growing up and up. So what is the problem? In Thailand, the thing is, in Thailand, when people are out of the labor force, they immediately find another job, and also they have been counted and it's like more than 40% of Thailand's population is engaged in agriculture. And also, they are not afraid of engaging themselves into many lower paid jobs, such as they would become a taxi or motorbike drivers, or you can include in street vendors, and those people are included in the employment. So they are employed. However, in Vietnam, there has been reports that people, when they're out of employment, they tend to seek a higher paid jobs, and so they keep kind of delaying the time to find another job. And that is somehow is hurting our economy, because people are delaying and postponing the way that they can make money for their own family, for their own family and for the economy itself. However, there has been another major problem that I call the abuse system problem. Abuse systems. People can abuse the system of unemployment insurance in two ways. The first thing is, one thing is that the workers, for example, I myself have worked for full 12 months. So I can have an insurance for 3 months with a 60% rates. And then I will apply for that unemployment insurance. I received the 3 months, and then I got another job in another full 12 months, and then I resigned, and then I got another 3 months of insurance benefits. That is one thing. Another thing is that the workers and the workers and the employees, they will cooperate together. So the employers will agree that the workers will apply for the job 12 months, and then they would get them for a short break. However, they would disguise as they are resigned, and then they would once again apply for the unemployment benefit insurance, and then they would, after they receive that 3 months, they would get again. Thank you.
Well, I want to remind you two teams about one thing. When we have only 1 minute left, we're going to signal you by this sound, and please pay attention. Okay, I want to call upon the second affirmative, negative speaker. The first negative speaker.
Okay, thank you, Khánh Huyền. Ngọc Anh, I see you made some points there. However, I have to disagree with you to some extent. Firstly, about you said that people decide to receive the unemployment allowance. But according to the law on employment, if you unilaterally terminate a labor contract, you won't receive any unemployment benefits. And secondly, the monthly allowance is only 60% of the average monthly wage, as you said. However, every time you change the job, your wage went straight down to the basic wage level, which is really low, and it can barely support your minimum living requirements. So I don't think that someone would stay at home and receive this benefit instead of looking for a job, as you said. And I will tell you why we should keep the unemployment insurance instead of abolishing it. Here I introduce to you the downward loop. First, if someone is unemployed, you will have no income at all. This leads to a decrease in the basic needs consumption, and in turn lower the demand for certain goods. And then companies and factories will have to downsize their production. And in order to do that, they have to lay off more and more workers. This would only worsen the situation, and the circle continues and steadily drops the economy down to rock bottom. However, with the existence of unemployment insurance, this is a different story. Peter Ozak, the director of the Office of Management and Budget, US, stated that by partially compensating for lost income, unemployment insurance lessens the reduction in spending that unemployment can cause. which means that people under unemployment insurance can still go look for a job while still be able to afford to support basic needs for their family. And next, Jonathan Gruber, please. A professor of economics at MIT, in his consumption smoothing benefits of unemployment insurance research, found out that the amount a family spent on food fell by 7% on average when the head of the household loses his job. But this number would decline by 22% with the absence of unemployment benefits. So in short, this unemployment insurance will keep the manufacturers going and prevent the economy from collapsing in recession age. So this is a very great emergency economic stabilizer in the edge of recession. So if you get rid of it, how can our economy survive in case another economic crisis happens? That's all from my part. Thank you.
Thank you for the opportunity. Now I'm going to call upon the second affirmative speaker.
Okay, so thank you Huy, for your interesting idea. Well, I find your loop really strong with reasonable supports. However, the main thing we're talking about here is the context. The context here is the Vietnamese economy. And will that loop be feasible being applied to Vietnamese economy? Is there really any relationship between the unemployment rate and the consumptions? Well, to back up my point, I would like to show some evidence. According to General Statistics Office of Vietnam, in the first half of 2016, the unemployment rate rise from 2.25 in the first quarter to 2.29 in the second one. However, the consumption reached 1.724 billion Vietnam dong, and it is an increase of 9.5% compared to the same period last year. So, according to this, we can see that despite the rise in unemployment rates, the consumption is still growing. So, can we tell that in Vietnam, increasing in unemployment rate results in consumption? It results in the decrease in consumption? I really don't think so. Now, to illustrate our team's second point of why we should abolish unemployment insurance in Vietnam, I would like to talk about the impact of it on individual employee. Although the legislator have made it very clear that those company, business, employers who are responsible for paying social insurance, health insurance, and unemployment insurance for her workers, her workers, but fail to pay or pay insufficiently, shall be fined from 20 to 200 million Vietnam dong and also imprisonment. However, despite the stringent rules, the number of the numbers of death, the amount of death has still rising. From January 1st, 2009, the day that the unemployment insurance took effect, to July 31st, 2016, the amount of money that companies owe the government for their employees' unemployment insurance is 594 billion Vietnam dong. So this means that the rights of Vietnamese employees are directly affected due to the irresponsibility of their company. Now you can see this is a very big number, which means that the number of employees that stand a chance of receiving no money when they resign from their company is very high, because according to the Dispatch Note 2266, when you resign from a company, if you want to get and your company at the same time is in debt of the government for the unemployment insurance,
you have to talk with your manager to write a proposal to Vietnamese social insurance organizations, and only then the organization will work with Department of Labor, Work, Employment and Social Affairs, and only then they will only consider your proposals. Which means that you can see there are many steps here, and if your manager refuses to cooperate with you on your proposal, you will stand a chance of receiving no money. So I don't see the point of cutting out a part of our salary to a fund when the risk of losing that money is that high. So that's the end of my talk. Thank you.
Thank you, the propositions team. Now I call upon the second affirmative negative speaker.
Thank you for such a thought-provoking idea. Now let me respond to it. I acknowledge that the evasion of unemployment insurance has become prevalent these days. However, the policymakers are making every effort to prevent this crime by raising the punishment or monitoring routinely and vigorously the collecting of unemployment insurance in every machine. This may deter any would-be criminals. More importantly, in my opinion, when a system is manipulated, what we should do is to devise the prevention schemes rather than abandon the whole system, which is beneficial in many ways. It is advantageous to the economy of a nation, like Huy has stated before, and it is beneficial to the labor force as well, which I would like to justify right now. First, I would like to put emphasis on the claim that the law on employment has clarified that unemployment insurance includes not only the monthly allowance, but also the job counseling and recommendation, vocational training support, as well as support for training and retraining for laborers, four of which will serve as an effective assistance for the unemployed to come back to the labor market after being terminated. To be more specific, pursuant to the Article 54, the unemployed who are eligible for unemployment insurance will be provided with job counseling and recommendation without any charge. For example, they can attend the Ministry of Labor. The Ministry of Labor will hold some job fairs where the unemployed can attend and meet directly the potential employers to show their qualifications with a view to securing a new job. It definitely opens more windows of opportunity for the unemployed. Additionally, to illustrate, in the most recent job fair in Dong Nai, the over 150 people are admitted to the companies at the job fair, right at the job fair, accounting for 40% of the attendance. This high proportion definitely proves the effectiveness of this kind of support. Additionally, pursuant to the Article 55 of the same law, the unemployed can also be entitled to vocational training support. Like they can attend some vocational training classes where they can sharpen their skills and acquire some necessary qualifications to enhance their chances of being employed again. To illustrate more, this is an example of vocational class. To illustrate more convincingly, I would like to introduce the report on public site on the web portal of Ministry of Labor, Employment and Social Affairs. As you can see from this, in 2015, over 440,000 people are provided with job counseling and recommendation, and over 20,000 people are supported in terms of vocational training. these statistics prove that the aforementioned articles are not just theory, but actually come into effect. To conclude my point, I will show a video in which the unemployed express their opinions on the benefits of unemployment insurance.
Điều này cùng với việc làm luôn thì thứ nhất là mình rút ngắn được thời gian giải quyết được cái việc mà mình đang mong muốn là giải quyết việc cũng như là mong muốn tìm kiếm việc làm thì hỗ trợ cho người lao động rất là nhiều. Thì khi mà cái phiên giao dịch nó tổ chức hiện tại cái khu vực Đông Anh ấy thì tôi đến đây tìm việc cũng như là tìm cái công việc phù hợp thì nó cũng thuận tiện hơn. Thứ nhất là cái khoảng cách về địa lý rất là xa, hay là tiết kiệm được thời gian.
Trong năm 2016, Trung tâm Dịch vụ Việc làm Hà Nội đã tổ chức 5 phiên giao dịch việc làm dành cho lao động bảo hiểm thất nghiệp. Những phiên giao dịch này chủ yếu đặt tại các điểm tiếp nhận lao động bảo hiểm thất nghiệp, đăng ký hồ sơ và xin kết quả như Đông Anh, Long Biên, Sóc Sơn. Đây cũng là điểm tập trung nhiều khu công nghiệp nên có nhiều cơ hội việc làm mới cho người lao động.
Đây là lớp học sửa chữa xe máy dành cho các lao động đang trong thời gian thất nghiệp. Với anh Nguyễn Quang Tuấn, việc tham gia khóa đào tạo này được xem là rất bổ ích, giúp anh có cơ hội chuyển đổi nghề nghiệp, tái hòa nhập với thị trường lao động hiệu quả.
Lớp học về xe máy này được hỗ trợ cho cảnh sát mình thất nghiệp trong vòng 4 tháng, hiện nay cũng là 12 tháng, và khi mà hoàn thành khóa học thì tôi sẽ được giới thiệu cho sửa một phần tâm điều kiện làm việc, mình đã biết được kinh nghiệm về nghề của chúng tôi là sẽ được thông tin, và đó thì giúp mình sau này đi xin làm việc ở những công ty khác sẽ có hỗ trợ của bên thất nghiệp, và nó có thể là mang cho mình rất nhiều cái thuận lợi trong công việc, như là trong thời gian mình thì là mình cũng đăng ký thêm về khóa thì hỗ trợ cho mình tiến tới một BBC, thì bây giờ mình cũng không cần về cái văn phòng để làm
So in brief, I state clearly that unemployment insurance in Vietnam are rendering practical and considerable assistance for the unemployed in seeking for new job after the termination of labor contract. Therefore, the government should keep the unemployment insurance.
Thank you both team for your first part, and now we're going to come to Q&A session.
It is not a question actually, because I can help the cash flow and so I would like to go back and explain more why. Because your visual aid show very little about your speech.
Thank you, Liam. So I'll briefly summarize my 2 ideas about how unemployment insurance can help the economy. The first one is that workers and also the business can abuse the systems due to the law. First of all, is that they can because we have a system of 12-month requirement that when a person works fully for 12 months, they can have an unemployment benefit for 3 months with a 60% rate of the previous month's salary. So they would keep doing that. For example, they would have one job for 1 year, and then they would jump to another job to get the unemployment insurance. And also the business also does it as well by cooperating with the workers. So they would they would kind of like allow the worker to take a break, but then they would disguise it and to show the government that that worker is no longer working here, and then they would somehow share that kind of of like illegal amount of money. So according to so the fraudulent that cost federal government lots of money. So last year this cost the government about 11.3 billion Vietnam dollars, and also according to a report by the Department of the Social of the World Evaluate and Social Welfare in Vietnam, then there has been a report that 23 out of 32 provinces that they were accused of doing this kind of fraud by not offering the money to the government. And another point is that by having this insurance benefit, because the money it will be divided between people. For example, Duyên would have more, the wage would be higher than mine. So when they receive the federal government, it will be unfair for the social part, a small part of people. When like 70% of people who apply for the unemployment insurance are people who have very low wages. So that will be further clarified in House part. In the clear.
I have a question for the opposition team that what do you think if some people they will stay at home and receive the money instead of looking for jobs?
Basically, the insurance for unemployment, some people may take advantage and just stay home to receive the money.
So, thank you, Victor, for the question. This question actually is my refutation to Ngọc Anh's part. So, if you want, I will repeat it again. It is that according to the law of employment, the monthly allowance for unemployment is 60% of the average monthly wage of 6 consecutive months before quitting the job. However, when you change job and anything, this number would go straight down to the basic wage level, which is really low and can barely support the minimum living requirements. So I doubt that anyone would live by every day like that, instead of looking for a job and have better living standards. Yes.
So I'm not very sure about the relationship between the unemployment insurance with the job fair and the support for them to get back into the employment. So does it mean that this unemployment insurance will be used to hold the fair and other training course?
Yeah, as I have stated right at the beginning of my presentation, unemployment insurance includes not the monthly allowance, the vocational training support, and short-term salary recommendation. It means that when you are eligible for unemployment insurance, you also provided with some kind of recommendation for jobs, like job fairs as I taken as example. It is the job fair held by the Ministry of Labor for the unemployed who are eligible for unemployment insurance.
So do you think that we should cut down the amount of money for the unemployment insurance and just invest that money into the training course?
In my opinion, people in the time people are unemployed, they still have to maintain their basic needs, like the consumption on food or the renting house or renting fares. So besides vocational training support, they still need money to maintain to meet the ends to make ends meet. Thank you.
I have one question for the proposition team. I remember that in Tree's case, he mentioned that when the unemployment rate, the unemployment may affect the economy, and his state two case is that the unemployment plus the unemployment insurance and the unemployment alone, which means that unemployment alone will affect the economy more than the unemployment with unemployment insurance. But I see in your chart that you say that in Vietnam unemployment is high, has raised in 3 months, and the consumption also increased. How can you be sure that the unemployment in your case is the unemployment without unemployment insurance?
She means that you are very sharp in mind and thinking, and we cannot follow you, so that's why you cannot follow business. So are you clear with the question then? Good, you need to clarify. So ask her to clarify. We don't have time for thinking.
Okay. So in his case, he says that the unemployment will affect the economy, but he said two cases, that unemployment alone and unemployment with unemployment insurance. And unemployment insurance will not affect the economy as much as unemployment alone. So in your chart, I remember that you say the unemployment rate in Vietnam increased. However, the consumption also increased. How can you be sure that the unemployment rate in Vietnam is the...
All right, I think I understand you. So we talked about the consumption of one family, of the household. But you talk about the whole economy, all right? So normally in every country, except for in depression, we all have increased consumption of the whole economy. So although our unemployment rate is higher, it doesn't mean that it's because the unemployment is higher. That leads to the fact that the consumption is higher. It's not the cause for the consumption to be higher. And it's very hard to compare between the whole economy with one household. He was trying to talk about one individual. Duyên, am I right? Is that what you want to ask? Yes. Yeah, okay. So what we try to ask here is it's very hard to compare. It's very clear to explain for the whole economy, yet we know that although the unemployment rate is higher, but still it's a good thing, it's a positive thing that the consumption index is still high, even higher, right? But that cannot be explained for the fact that the household or the unemployment people will consume more, okay? It's because I'm richer, I have more money, so I buy more, and that make up for Lynn. She's unemployed, she doesn't have money to buy anything, but because I buy more and more. So still, the whole economy still has a positive change. Okay, so that's what we want to ask. Is it reasonable we compare like that?
Well, actually, the case that he mentioned, as far as I'm concerned, this was in the US. It was in 1997 or 2009, and this was so far away. And the point that I'm trying to make here is that he said that the unemployment may affect the consumption. But as we see, I only consider the economy as a whole because I compare the unemployment rate. I relate the unemployment rate with the whole economy.
So you want to look at the bigger picture?
Yeah, I was look at the picture in general, not in specific households.
So is that you're ignoring the vulnerable people in the society?
Well, actually. you can be unemployed when you are on purpose, or you can be unemployed when you are not satisfied, you are not qualified enough to work in that company. So
Don't talk about me. I've never been unemployed.
a person, someone. So we cannot say that I'm ignoring the individual, because there are so many cases out there and we cannot investigate in each case. So Tulang can know that the reason why he was unemployed, and if he was unemployed because he tried to do this so that he can gain the unemployment insurance. I cannot just clarify this case.
Yeah. Okay. So I think it's the way you word it. It's the way you explain it. That mattered. It was not about the figure itself. Any more question? So I'm going to ask.
I have a question for the proposition team.
Before you ask the proposition team, let them relax a little bit. I want to ask Huy. You talked about the downward loop. Where does it come from? Because we are not like specialized in economy or business, so it's hard for us to understand what the downward loop is. Is it a theory developed by an American scientist or businessman, or what is it?
Yes, the detail of the downward loop, as I introduced to you, but so this is not a theory. This is a fact, and is well known among the economists around the world. And in the one report of the same people that I introduced on the slide, Peter Ozanzak, the director of the Office of Management and Budget in the US, he has stated that pretty clearly in his report. You can Google it and you can easily find it. Just put his name.
So the downward loop, it is very popular and
Yes.
it is commonly applied for every economy.
Yes, it is.
It's something natural that will happen.
Every economist should know that.
You don't know that, and I don't know that I should.
Because we're not economists.
Yes, I want to raise a question for the proposition team. As you can see that the unemployment insurance actually makes some progress in Vietnam, and it's helped many people despite some difficulties in the system. So if you agree with the fact that it should be abolished, then what do you propose to deal with the unemployment in Vietnam?
So thank you, Chairman, and allow me to answer these questions. So Vietnam has signed with the ASEAN community what is called the unemployment protection, and in that, then unemployment insurance is one part of a three priority. The first one, the unemployment insurance, is to guarantee some kind of like or sufficient income for people. The second one is to have training, so that they will train skills for people to earn to have better jobs in the future. And the third one is that they would help them to with some kind of like skills. And third one is so it's kind of contained about the soft skills and helping from the community, but it does not include finance. So we do not want Vietnamese people to be too dependent on the government, and we want them to have that kind of training so that they can train to be better, to be more skillful, to become better workers in the future, so that they can find better jobs. Because now with the globalization, there are many jobs available, and there have been reports that excuse me for 1 minute. So there has been a report when so like in Bình Dương, for example, so they have been in a shortage for workers. However, there has been an increase in the unemployment insurance applications. So the question is, why don't they apply for those jobs? The thing is that the first thing is they are not qualified enough. The second thing is, as I said before, they do not want to do those kind of jobs because maybe of low pay or maybe higher than what they can expect. So what we want to do is that we want to change Vietnamese people from the core that they can be better person, but they do not. So it's like to give them the rod, not the fish. So that's what we want to convey. Thank you.
Is there one other question? Actually, you talk about the training and orientation for jobs, which I have seen in the video that I have shown us. And I believe the unemployment insurance, as we said, that it's not enough to live daily. And so people cannot base on that amount to live. So it cannot. So do you think it's not true to say that they actually be dependent on the government? Besides, the problem of not being qualified or not wanting to do the job, is actually related to the existence of unemployment insurance, or it's actually because of other reasons. Do you understand? Did I make myself clear?
I just like state either like so what you're saying, you want to ask us is that their mindset that do not want to do jobs is that because of unemployment insurance or is because of another factor, right?
Yes. Okay. Well, whether unemployment insurance, whether the reason you disagree, you want unemployment insurance to be abolished. The reason you want it to be abolished is because what you just told me, right? But whether really, in fact, unemployment insurance does contribute to the increasing to the their decision not wanting to do the job or not being qualified.
When did you send them the slide? When did you send them the slides? Do you need that after this morning as well? Do you need that after sending the slide, they can have time for this to read what you have prepared, looking at the slide? Yeah, we can deal with that. I can deal with that. That's why I sent it.
We cannot say 100% that unemployment insurance is a cause to that matter. However, we have evidence to say that unemployment insurance will it will hurt the economy. So as we said before, that they have been fraudulent reported to the government about this, and we have confiscated 11.3 billion Vietnam dong last year, and that the exact amount would be higher because they would somehow have a periodical inspectors coming each quarter a year, for example, like that. So the thing is, unemployment insurance may not be the reason why people do not want to do low-paid jobs, and I think that is kind of like a human nature. They want to do something that can make more money, but unemployment insurance is somehow a factor that can affect them. They think that if I have this, for example, if I have 300,000 a month with insurance, then why should I do a job with only 100 a month? So it's some kind of like a comparison between the jobs and the wages. So we still think that it could be very bad for a citizen to think that way into the insurance. Thank you.
Is there any questions for the voting team?
Nope. Just
What was the precise wording of the downward loop that you said? Was it precisely called downward loop?
No, it is.
So what is the
What is?
exact name of it?
No, it isn't. It's, I named it the
Okay.
downward loop, or you can call can be called by many names. The downward loop, the unending circle. It's some kind of loop in the economy that will happen during the recession
That's
age.
why I asked you where does the downward loop, the name comes
And the name will explain.
So what are you trying to say?
It's still bugging me a little about the wording because was it a loop or was it a spiral? The loop, imply that the situation stays the same.
Yeah, stay the same.
And the spiral imply that the situation just
It means
worsens.
worse, right?
Okay, so I think that is like for wording in like that, so it should be more like the downward spiral. Thank you, Luke, for your
Thank you.
constructive question.
So I believe that there's no questions raised for voting.
Okay, I have one small question for him. So you showed a video about the job fair for the unemployed. My question is, so those who wanted to attend that fair, like, do they have to pay the unemployed insurance or an amount of money before, like for 3 months or 1 year in order to attend that job fair?
Yes, that job fair is just for the people who are eligible for unemployment insurance. That means they have to pay 12 months of unemployment, 12 months before being terminated.
Go on.
Yes. We're gonna continue our debate today with the third negative speaker.
Okay, okay, so now I would like to add one more idea on unemployment insurance impact on laborers, which is its interaction with other programs. There is a wide range of complementary programs aimed particularly at the unemployed job seekers. Some are available to all kinds of job seekers, while some are exclusively intended for UI recipients. And thanks to these services, basic amenities in their life will be secured, including food, medical care. According to the presidential decree number. According to the presidential decree number 127 on December the 12th, 2008 about social insurance on unemployment. Social insurance on unemployment insurance. The jobless are offered health insurance during the UI duration. And to support the out of job with to support the out of job, there are also many other social programs, some of which have been listed in our 2016 study set in Vietnamese context by Ngô Thị Loan. Let's take poverty reduction programs as an example. By adopting poverty reduction programs, Vietnam witnessed a sharp plunge in poverty rate from 60% in early 1990s to 8.4% in 2014, while 45 million people exited from poverty in the period from 1993 to 2008. And there also existed other targeted programs such as New Rural Program, which served to trigger job creation and vocational training for rural beneficiaries, as has mentioned. And now I would like to put emphasis on UI's effects on Vietnamese society, well, societal issues to be exact. A majority opine that unemployment insurance lowers suicide rate. Well, it is conspicuous that suicide is induced by a variety of factors in which income loss and loneliness predicated by unemployment are the pivotal ones. However, in a 2014 study, it has been discovered that maximum cash unemployment insurance are able to mitigate the impact of increasing unemployment on suicide rates. Jonathan Sayers, the leader of the research team, told Huffington Post that if the unemployment rate increases, having better insurance is going to buffer the effects, and it has been ascertained in their findings. And here is the chart representing their findings. The solid line here illustrates the correlation between unemployment rate and the annual suicide death number per 100,000 workers in states with insurance, and the dotted line presents the correlation in states with no insurance. So, by exploiting unemployment insurance to lower suicide rates, the U.S. has made such improvement. So why not make this practice applicable in Vietnam? This definitely makes big steps scaling the self-murder cases down in Vietnam. So that's my part on the society.
Thank you, the opposition team. And we go with the last, the third committee speaker. Alright, thank you everyone for your very persuasive points. So for my team, the last point I want to bring up is that why the unemployment insurance should be abolished is that there's still so many flaws in it. For people who, there's still, we lack of a synchronization in the managing system. It means that a person can still receive unemployment insurance when they're still working. They can quit their job in one province and receive unemployment insurance, and then go to another province and look for a new job. And no one will know about that because of the managing system. We lack the synchronization. And according to the deputy director of policy, from 2010 to now, on average, there's about 600,000 people receive unemployment benefits, and not all of those people are, qualified for that money. The amount, that big amount of money, you can see, is place a burden on the national budget. And on the other hand, this insurance, for those people who are not eligible for that insurance, they can claim unemployed and take that money. But there's also some other people who are really needs that amount of money but cannot receive it because of the law. You can see up here. So, according to Article 46, Chapter 4 of Employment
employment law. A person within 3 months after terminating his or her labor contract of working, a worker shall submit a receipt of unemployment allowance to apply for the unemployment benefits. So the problem is there are many cases when the company fails to return the insurance books for the employees, so that they cannot register for that insurance. Here's one particular case. Mr. Võ Văn Hu, okay, he was born in 1954 and he lived in Ho Chi Minh City. He worked for a real estate company in District 7 from September 2007, and by July 2014 he resigned due to his poor health. But at that time he didn't receive his insurance books because the company still owes the social insurance. So he didn't receive his insurance books until the end of 2014. So by that time, the 3-month deadline is over, so he cannot apply for the insurance benefits. So after 7 years of working, he received nothing. And they say that the officers, they say that he can still receive that money when he find another job. But the problem is he's 60 years old and he cannot find any new job with his age and his poor health. So that is one case. So there's also another woman. Her name is Sam, and she didn't receive the money as well because she got breast cancer and she had to quit her job after a few months of treatment, and now she registered for the insurance. But they say no to her because she didn't work, she didn't pay for the insurance for 12 months, for the last 12 months, so that she's not qualified. So my point is, our point is that the insurance is not, the law is not strict and it's not enough for people who need it and to receive the money, and that is why we don't agree with this law. Okay.
Considering those who really need the kind of money from the insurance. So if you abolish, then there will be no money. And what we will do? Well, with them.
Okay, thank you, Liam, for your question. My answer to your question is that there's flaws in the system, and we don't say that we should immediately abolish the insurance benefits, but for those who really need it, I mean, the law, there's still flaws, so it means that the people who doesn't need it still can get access to that amount of money, and that can cause a huge loss for the budget. And each year there's billions spent on insurance benefits, but not all of those people deserve that kind of money.
we suggest that we make changes to the law, and if we, I strongly believe that if we do something, we do it right. I mean, not if we can't do it right from the first place, then we don't do it at all. You know, you understand it.
Yeah, I got your opinion. However, the thing is that I wonder what would you do with those who really need the insurance, the poor. If you abolish completely, they will be even more, immoral.
Yes, I understand your point. And as I've said, we cannot abolish it immediately, but we should make changes to it.
But gradually it will disappear.
If we can abolish it completely, it is without put those people in jeopardy. And yes, I think we should do that. But in the meantime, there still needs to be some kind of insurance for those people who really need it. But in the same time, we should make some kind of stricter laws and to eliminate the people who doesn't need it and still receive the money.
So it is to change only not the abolition.
Yes.
May I help you? Well, can you explain? Can you clarify what do you mean by the poor who really need the unemployment benefit?
As you mentioned in your example, a woman who did not pay enough the insurance for 12 months, and she had breast cancer, something like that. Breast cancer. Yes, and anyway, she needs money, from the insurance to cure. And
yes, I understand your point. Thank you for your question. But the thing is, the unemployment insurance is only a very small part of the social insurance. And when you are in circumstances that you need the help from the government, you can apply, you can write about your situations, and you can send it to the social insurance organizations, and the government will consider your situation. For example, cancer, you mean, right? So, and for those who are poor, and I suggest that they should look for a job instead of looking for the money from the government, right? And for those who are incapable of working or because of illness or because of their age, the government have the insurance for that, like the health insurance and the retire insurance. So yes.
And in this case, she didn't receive insurance from the government because she's not qualified for it due to the law. The law said that a person must work for 12 months consecutively before receiving UI, may I say, unemployment insurance. Yes. But she got cancer and she had to quit her job and stay at home for treatment for a few months. So by the time she come back and ask for the insurance, for the benefits, she's not qualified for it. And that is the case of this woman. So yes, it's good.
I have one question at the same case. You are saying that there are flaws in our rules, right? But then why do you mention the women with breast cancer and quit her job? Because I think that the fact that she did not receive the insurance is right to the law, right? So why you mention it? You are stating the flaw, right? So why you are saying that she's actually obeying the laws?
Yes, but the point is that she is the real one who needs that money. She's sick. She's 45 years old and she has only 30% of working capacity, and she needs that money to treat her cancer, but she didn't receive them.
So I think instead of unemployment insurance, she can have another kind of insurance, a medical one. The thing is, maybe she did not expect the bad situation to happen. That's why she didn't register the insurance law before that. a way to encourage people to join the social insurance as soon as possible.
So,
And what I mean here is the vulnerable don't just base on the unemployment insurance to say that, okay, this is so bad that the government do not care for her situation. If she's not qualified for the unemployment insurance, she must have been registered for the medical insurance. And in that case, I'm sure that she can have a lot of money granted for curing her disease.
yeah, the medical insurance only covers the medical costs
Yeah.
for treating her cancer, but for others, she doesn't have a job. She's out of work, so she don't have money to pay for her house or her children and to feed her family. So the unemployment insurance is still
But she's 45, right? She was 45 and
but she's only 30% of working capacity left. So she's very weak in her situation, and she's not the only one. There's many people like the man.
so if we abolish the unemployment insurance system, then what do you think would benefit best to this particular situation? Okay, I will let you some seconds to think. Now, question for this group. Okay.
I have a question for Julia. Do you think that the unemployment insurance is a contributor to the decreased poverty rate in Vietnam? Because I think that most of the poverty rates often exist at the rural and outskirts areas, and I think the people living there, they are not likely to be the participants of unemployment insurance now. Most of people now have access to unemployment insurance at city or living at industrial zone, and so that my point is that people who have unemployment insurance, they are not the people among the poverty areas, the poor areas. So you cannot say that because the unemployment insurance lead to the decreased poverty rate. Because maybe people living in rural areas or outskirts, they do not have access to unemployment insurance.
Okay. I want you to sit down, think about the question again, and try to reduce all the in your question. Okay? Okay, that's the biggest problem here. Now, so my question for you is, the social insurance system now is very problematic. Recently, I heard about the new law or the new article released that you have, or people have to have at least 30, and now it's 35 years of social insurance in order to get the retired compensation. So do you think that the situation will keep changing? And those who like register for this insurance will not be able to get the money because, like they say, the organization and also the management of the government is too weak. Do you yourself believe in the unemployment insurance? Okay, anyone can answer this question. We are thinking about a very bright side, okay, bright future, and we believe in the kindness of people there. They just try to get money from us, investing in different areas as well. And we don't know whether there is money in there. And people are now gossiping about breaking off, I don't know, fulfilling the whole budget. I'm not sure whether it's right or not. And my question for Philip, you talk about the flaws in the law. Is it? The flaws in the law. And if you say that it's bad and we should abolish it, is that because we just give up on it? And also think about the situation of the medical insurance. A lot of people cheated in order to get money, even the hospital. For example, recently I heard from the news, one person, one day, go to different hospitals to get money or to get different types of medicine from different hospitals in just one day. I'm not sure whether it's the person or the hospitals try to cheat and try to steal money from the insurance, from the social insurance. Okay? But we still don't abolish it because we know, aside from typical case, then we still it still benefits other people. So come back to this unemployment insurance. If you say that it's not like perfect, there are flaws in it, and we should abolish it, is it a false argument here? Do you think that way of arguing is valid? Because there's flaws in it, then we should abolish it.
Right. So, as I've said to Liam, so the law, there's still flaws in the law, and if we cannot find a good way to make it right and to give it to those who really deserve it, I don't think we should keep those laws.
I think that the law itself is not wrong, it's the way we manage it. And when we deal with people, then why don't we hope that it can be better day by day?
Yes, I do hope that it can get better and there could be some change and to make it more perfect. But given the circumstances and like right now, we don't have any solution to it yet. So and there's a lot of money, and we wasted many money on those who do not need it, and so that is why I think it is not it shouldn't be there.
Ready? For me? They're trying to answer my question first, so you need to leave. Audience, do you even know about the unemployment insurance? Did you know that's there? So, can you answer that question?
Personally, I believe in the effectiveness of unemployment insurance itself, but maybe it's not really effective in the society, in Vietnamese society right now, due to some corruption of the management or the higher organization. But this means that the fund is at the organization and the management, not in the nature of the unemployment insurance. So I think we should make changes to the attitude of people, not to abandon the unemployment insurance, because it's not the fund of unemployment insurance, but the people who apply it to, who manage it.
Yeah. It's there, and most of us don't care about it. So why should we be there?
Not, yeah, most of us doesn't mean that all of us. Like because we still have the report and the annual report, which states how many people are taking part in this system. That means that the system still work. So in terms of the popularity of this system, I think we should popularize the system.
Thank you. Yeah,
Yes, I have a question for you. You mentioned the interaction of insurance, unemployment insurance with other kind of program, for example, poverty reduction program. And I was quite confused about the relation between these two programs. How the unemployment insurance can help the poverty reduction program? Does the people use the money of the youth insurance to bring the help to the poor?
So your question is the same as mine?
Yes.
Actually, this the poverty reduction programs lies in the unemployment protection, which is a part of unemployment insurance. So they are quite strictly related to each other.
Which means the targeted person in the program is the unemployment for right? So you assume the unemployment to be the poor, right?
Not to that extent, not to that core, but may I have a moment?
Yes.
Okay, so I will answer the question. May I use can I borrow the water? Okay, so you think so you state that I assume an employee to be the poor.
Yes.
Okay, so let me illustrate this. Let's say this, so the poor lies in this circle, and the unemployed lies in this circle. So there is a part of people who are also poor but also unemployed. So this poverty reduction, these poverty reduction programs will not totally improve the whole picture, but partially contribute to the improvement. I think the partial improvement is enough right now, and we will gradually reduce will gradually make the picture more brighter.
So, meaning people have the poor reduction program by giving them money, right? Anyway, the money that used in this situation is come from the unemployment insurance. It means the money that the employees pay for their insurance.
Not really the money. I think they can give vocational training or job consultancy so that they will work themselves to make their life
brighten their life themselves.
I mean that. Is there any other question raised from both sides? So, is there any question raised from both teams?
I'm sorry, can I ask the opposition team the rates of the insurance, the unemployment insurance, or the social insurance that each employee has to submit each month? Do you know the rates?
It is 1%. It is 1% in the employee's salary and 1% paid.
1%?
Yes, and 1% paid by the employer.
Maybe 50%? 1%?
Yes.
2%?
Yes.
Of the salary of the worker?
No, 1% of salary of the worker and 1% from the employers.
Only 1%?
Actually,
So unemployment insurance is separated from the social insurance in general.
No, it is the same, but we are talking about unemployment insurance and what it takes from the money employee makes.
well, actually, the levels of responsibilities for each person is that the employees have to pay 1%, the employers have to submit 1%, and also the employees get 1% support from the government if he or she resigns from the work. So in total,